Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, November the 28th, 2020. It is currently 8:49 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you from a very chilly, rainy West Texas this morning. Yes, I woke up this morning to a cold rain falling. All of our warm weather has disappeared. Now, I don't know if I should call it cold. Maybe I should just call it chilly. Because people from other states, if they heard me call it cold, they would probably laugh. So it's not really cold. It's not like freezing, but it's colder than it has been when we were having temperatures like in the 70s and 80s. So, but it's a chilly, rainy morning here in West Texas. And I have arrived here at Victory Baptist Church. I've made my way to the back of the sanctuary. I've set up all of my podcast equipment. I've got the microphone hooked up. I've hit the big red go live button. And, oh, do I have a story for you? Do I have a story for you today? Now, if you have been following all of our podcast episodes where I have been telling you the great Edifi Christian podcast app Saga of 2020, well, we just experienced a major plot twist, right? Have you ever been reading a book or watching a television show and whoa, that was a big twist. I didn't see that coming. That was the big surprise. That was the big plot twist. Well, I have one for you today, and it came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. It came out of nowhere, and I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Now, we still don't have a conclusion. I was hoping that when I arrived here this morning, I could offer some kind of final conclusion. Maybe I should be a little bit more positive. Maybe I'm still a little cynical, but considering how long this story has, this just has gone on and on and on. I'm almost like, do I really want to go through? Do I want to go through this again? But here we are. So let me, for those who are new to this saga, let me catch you up. All right. And in previous episodes, this is what happened a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far. No, it wasn't that long ago, but it was early 2020. I think late 2019 or early 2020. I came across an article or something talking about the Edifi Christian podcast app. And they were talking about having over 2 million Christian podcasts available. And I was like, okay, a podcast app dedicated to Christian podcasts. Well, look at our podcasts, Theology Central, VBC Bible Institute, the Non-Catholic Catholic. They're all Christian podcasts, right? All trying to accomplish different things, Bible studies, devotionals, sermons, a commentary about what's happening in our world from a theological perspective, looking at things related to Catholicism, Bible teaching. You take everything that we've done. I'm like, this fits right in. And this could possibly be a great benefit to us, right? If you have a Christian podcast app that has over 2 million Christian podcasts, you can pretty much guess who's going to be using that app. Most likely it's going to be professing Christians. And guess what things they're going to be searching for? They're going to be searching for sermons, devotionals, Bible studies. They're going to be looking for the very things I produce. So this would possibly be a big boost to our listening audience. It would possibly get us in front of more people who may not even know that we exist. So I'm like, okay, I've got to find out about this app. I've got to start looking into this. And so immediately I started contacting. Here's our contact. I started contacting saying, hey, here's all of our podcasts. We would love to be on your app. And if you remember how the story goes, no reply. Then I tried again, no reply. And then I tried again, no reply, no reply, no reply, no reply. Again, I can't give you the exact number, but it has to be well over 30, maybe 40 times that I tried everything I could. I tried to contact the Christian Post, who is somehow connected with this app. I tried to contact the contact page for the Edifi Christian podcast app itself. I even left a review under the Apple App Store saying, hey, I love the idea for your app, but how can we get on the app? Could you please contact us? I tried everything. And at every turn, it wasn't just a rejection. It was no one even bothered to reply. No one even bothered to contact me to say, hey, sorry, we're not taking, we're not taking any new submissions right now. Sorry, we're not going to add any more podcasts. Something but it was just deafening silence, almost as if I didn't even deserve the respect to be, for someone to contact me back. And it was very, very, very frustrating. But I think I tried one more time, and then I got a reply. And I was like, yes. And the initial reply was, hey, thank you for contacting us. Sure. Give us the names of your podcast, and your RSS feed. So I gave them the name of the podcast, RSS feed. That's all they asked for. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I'll submit the RSS feed. They'll take the RSS feed, put it into the app. All of our content will be pulled to the app. I can turn on the microphone and say, hey, everyone, we're on the Edifi Christian Podcast app. Download it now. Listen, download, stream. Let's try to get our podcast moved up to the front so we can get noticed. And this would be very beneficial. You would be helping us out. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's do it. And, well, they didn't reply with, hey, your podcast has been submitted. No, they replied with, I think I heard nothing. If I try to go through this as accurately as I can, I think it went like a couple of days with no reply. And I'm like, hey, could you give me some kind of update? Could you tell me something? Well, hey, you be patient, or, it takes time for us to review. I'm like, okay, all right, what do they have to review? I'm like, what do they need to review? Then it was like a couple of more days. Then it was like, hey, we need, give us some more information. I think it was, I can more information about something. I gave them that information. Well, now we need more information about the church. And I kept being completely baffled and confused because they kept asking for more information. But as I was exploring the Edifi Christian Podcast app, I'm like, what could be this? What could be involved in the review process? They've got everything on. They've got conspiracy theories on this app. They've got people who have every theological stream you can think of. You've got Catholics, you've got Greek Orthodox, you've got Charismatics, you've got Reformed, you've got Independent Baptists, you've got Joyce Meyer, Beth Moore. You've got everything. You got T.D. Jakes, who denies the doctrine of the Trinity. You've got everything on this app. So what could be involved in the review process? You've got people on the app who are not even associated with the church. So why are you asking me for information about the church? It was just bizarre. And they would never really clarify exactly what they were looking for, what the requirements were. I even stated, hey, if there's a statement of faith, send it to me. I'll look it over. They never sent me a statement of faith. They never gave me a clue what they were looking for. And it just went on and on and on. Finally, I messaged them back, emailed them back going, it's hard for me to interpret silence. Someone tell me something. And then I get basically a very, a kind of a very cold, very non-personal, thank you for your interest in the Edifi Christian Podcast app. We will keep listening. If we feel that there's a fit, we'll contact you. Kind of just brushed me off. I never got an explanation to what happened, why we weren't accepted, nothing. It was just, we're done, go away. And to this day, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what was wrong with our podcast. I have the Edifi Christian Podcast app on a number of devices. I look at it every day, and I'm more and more blown away by the things that are on there and that we weren't allowed to be on there. It just makes no sense. I looked at it from every perspective. And from no matter what angle I look at it from, there's things on there that we like. If that can be on there, then we should be on there, right? You've got conspiracy theories, people not connected to a church. All right, well, we don't believe in conspiracy theories, and we're connected to a church, so that doesn't count. You got every theological stream on the earth, so obviously we could fit in there. You've got Ravi Zacharias on there, who's under investigation for all kinds of things. Okay, well, so if we were under investigation, we would still be allowed to be on there. So it's like, what? You can talk about my lack of communication skills, where there's some podcast on there that I've played one of them where I can't even, the person speaking, I can't even understand what he's saying. It's really, 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 I don't want to say the word bad because I don't want to criticize someone's communication skills. I will just say we would be able to compete with it. All right. So Why can't we be on the app? No explanation. It was over. I recorded it and said that it came to an end. And then Friday. This is so crazy. I'm just minding my own business on a Friday. I think I may have been listening to music. I may have been reading. I don't know what I was doing. But I get a notification that I got a new email. I go and look. You're not going to believe this. This was sent on November the 27th at 1:47 p.m. November the 27th at 1:47 p.m. It comes to me from Edifi support. Now, the first thing I realized, wait a minute, this is not the gentleman that I had been talking back and forth with in email. He doesn't bother to email me. He doesn't bother to re-engage me. No, he's the one who kind of just said, go away. So I thought it was interesting. Wait, so now the personal touch is gone. So I'm getting an email from the Edifi support, and there's no name. If you go down to the bottom, it says Blessings Edifi. So I don't know who I'm talking to. There's no name, and obviously the original and the other individual had been contacting me. He gave his name. I'm not going to give it, but I'm like, okay. So I guess the personal touch is gone, but all right, I'm being contacted by Edifi. So I didn't know. I was afraid. This is what I was afraid. When I saw that it was from Edifi support, I thought that I was about to get an email with them basically complaining that I have been talking about everything that's going on via my podcast episodes. I was just waiting for them to go, how dare you make us look bad? Well, no, I didn't make you look bad. This situation has not gone very well. So that's what I was afraid was getting ready to happen. So I was like, uh-oh. So, but I opened it. Here's what it said. Dear Trevor. Okay, so they know who I am. That's a positive. That's a positive. Now I don't know what they're replying to. I don't know. Are they replying to all of those emails that I had with the other individual? Are they replying to one of the things I sent a very, very long time ago? There's no real context here. It just says, Dear Trevor, and then this is how it reads. There seems to have been a mix-up regarding your request. What? There was a mix-up? How could there be a mix-up? I was literally emailing an individual from Edifi back and forth. If there was any confusion, the person could have asked the person asked all kinds of other questions that seemed to have no relevance to anything. But okay, all right. So there was a mix-up regarding my request. First of all, we apologize for the delay in getting a proper response to you. Okay. Now, I don't know if these people know that the other person has been emailing me. I'm really baffled by what's happening here, right? So do they not know that someone has been contacting me, or are they talking about the initial delay? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, but all right, thank you for apologizing. So they apologize for the delay in getting a proper response. We are working on improving our response times to all inquiries. Okay, well, that's good news. Great. That's wonderful. Secondly, someone on our team had thought that you were asking to be part of the Edifi Podcast Network. Okay, I didn't know there was an Edifi Podcast Network. If there is an Edifi Podcast Network, I'm not quite sure then what are the rules. If someone on the team thought that's what I was asking for, and I don't meet the requirements to be a part of the Edifi Podcast Network, could you at least please send me what those requirements are? Is it just some subjective standard, or is there an objective standard, an objective list of requirements? Or is it just subjective? Well, we don't really like you. Like, what is it? So I didn't even know there was an Edifi Podcast Network. I never used that language. I never said I want to be a part of the Edifi Podcast Network. I simply asked, what do we have to do to get our podcast on your app? There's over 2 million. Can we be one of those? Can we be among the 2 million? I don't know where the confusion was. Okay, but for some reason they thought I was asking to be a part of the Edifi Podcast Network, when in fact you were asking to submit your podcast to the Edifi app. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. I was asking how to submit our podcast to the Edifi app. I don't know how I could have said it any differently. All right. there was a misunderstanding on our part, and we hope you will still submit your podcasts to the app. Okay, all right. And then we get this. Our tech team has been working on a system for podcasters for our, okay, let me read this again. Here we go. I had this weird thing that was over the screen where I couldn't see. Let me try to reduce this in size. There we go. Now I can read the whole thing. Our tech team has been working on a system for podcasters to submit their podcast. And the good news is we've just launched it today. And we want you to be one of the first to use it. Please go to, I won't give you the address, please, because I don't know if they want everyone to use this. I don't know. But it said, please go to this address to submit your podcast to the Edifi app. For instructions, click on how to submit my podcast to Edifi. Blessings, Edifi. So I'm perplexed about exactly what happened, but I submitted everything. Now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I sent them a message today to this email saying, hey, thank you. Is there any way we can expedite this? I've only been working on this for most of 2020, and obviously either you gave me wrong information. I don't know what's happened, but can we move this along? Obviously, I haven't received a reply. I doubt I'll receive a reply today. Hopefully, by Monday, our podcast will now be available on the Edifi Christian Podcast app. That is my hope. Now, please note, I kind of paused there because I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical because I still don't really understand exactly what happened. They have a podcast network. Supposedly, they thought I was asking to be a part of that network. Supposedly, we don't meet whatever the requirements is to be on that network, but they won't tell me what those requirements are, and they won't tell me why we weren't allowed to be a part of the network. No explanation. But okay, but you just want to submit your podcast to be on the app. Okay, fine. I'll take that. There's supposedly a review process for this. I don't know what the review process for that is. I don't know. I mean, they have more information about our podcast than probably most of the podcasters who are currently on the app. I mean, I've talked to someone now multiple times. I've sent them information about the church. I don't know what else I can do. So we're now going through, I guess, another review process. I'm going to hope that by Monday, we are going to be on the Edifi Christian Podcast app. That's my hope. And when that happens, I am begging you, I am pleading with you, download the app, look for our podcast, subscribe, and just download, stream. Just hit play and let it play for 48 hours. Just play, let it play, stream, download, because I would like for us to at least have enough streams and downloads. I don't know how they move things to the forefront, but I would hope that, I'm assuming those in the podcast network are the things that get promoted on the front page. But I would hope that we get listened to enough that they can't ignore us. They have to take notice, right? That like we start off like these are nobodies, but hopefully enough downloads and enough streams. They're like, okay, maybe they're nobodies, but there's enough people out there listening to them that maybe we should treat them like they're maybe a somebody. I would like to get to the somebody category. The nobody category, if that's where we need to be, okay. I'd like to get to the somebody category so that we would at least possibly be put in a position where our podcast would be discovered. Because I've stated it before, we offer, in many cases, a very alternative perspective than what most Christians offer. Now, yes, we try to stay in line with historical biblical Christianity, but when we talk about things, we go against a lot of the groupthink within Christianity. We really challenge a lot of what's going on in modern day Christianity. So I would like that voice to be heard. There are hundreds of thousands of podcasts who all seem to sound the same, say the same thing. There's got to be room for someone offering somewhat of a different perspective. And the only way for that perspective to get out there is you, the listener, have to help us get the message out to the people who need to hear it. Help us be visible. Now, you do that when you leave a review. say on Apple Podcast, when you leave a 5-star rating, that helps. Obviously, when you share the episodes, that helps. But in this particular case, it's a very simple task. Download the Edifi Christian Podcast app. Once we are made available, listen to us. Just download everything. Stream until the numbers come in and they look at the numbers like, wait, what is that podcast? Why is that podcast getting more numbers than the ones in our own network? What is going on here? That then makes them take notice. That then gets us the ability to be seen. And once that happens, then whatever, look, once you get seen, that doesn't necessarily guarantee success. What that may guarantee is people listening going, I hate that guy. I can't stand that guy. I hate his perspective. And that's fine. That's fine. I can't pursue a course of action where I'm trying to please people. I have to pursue the same course of action I've always pursued. Turn on the microphone and pursue truth, right? With or without offense to friend or foe. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to sit there and play the game where I got to go along with all the other Christian podcasts and whatever the Christian narrative is at that time. I'm pursuing truth no matter what. But so if people hear and reject it, that's perfectly okay. I just want them to have the opportunity to reject it. I want them to have the opportunity to hear it. And then when they hear it, they say, oh, okay. I want when someone's on the Christian podcast app, Edifi Christian podcast app, searching for something, they find us. And then they go, oh, whoa, that's a different perspective. Maybe I should go back and listen to other things they have to say. I just want them to have the opportunity to find us, to hear us, and then they can either like us or hate us. That's beyond my control. But I want at least the opportunity to be a part of the conversation. I at least want our perspective thrown out there in the free market of ideas. I want it out there in the marketplace of ideas. And hopefully, whatever this review process is, hopefully we will pass it. And hopefully we will be notified shortly. I'm going to do a quick check. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go back to my inbox. Just make sure that because I don't want to give any wrong information. Yeah, it would be hilarious. It would be hilarious if I just got an email saying all of your podcasts have been rejected. That would really be no. That would not be hilarious. I would be depressed. Let me look here. I'm looking at the overview. Let's see. Go to channels. All right. Review status. Currently, our review status is pending. That's our review status. Pending. We have no information I can give you right now, but that's the major twist. That's the major plot twist. We get an email. Again, it's really weird. Hey, we're this, basically here's Edifi support. I'm not going to give you my name. Someone from our team. Well, someone from your team has to be the person who was emailing me. So why didn't that person email me back? See, that's what's just so weird. The person who's been emailing me, right? Who's their last email kind of just brushed me off. Why wouldn't that person email me back and go, oh man, I am so sorry. I misunderstood. I was confused. Hey, I'm gonna expedite this for you. We can definitely get you on the app. I'll make it happen now. Now, to be fair, this was Friday after Thanksgiving. That person who originally contacted me may not even be at work. May not even be back to work till Monday. That's probably a very real possibility. I don't know but the support team was there. So I don't know what they were doing. I don't know who this person is, but we're going to wait and see. Hopefully by Monday, we're on the app. Maybe the person who originally emailed me who got confused, maybe they'll email me back. Maybe everything will be fine. It's just been a crazy, 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 crazy journey into trying to just get a Christian podcast on a Christian podcast app. And again, I have to compare it to all the other platforms, whether it's Amazon Music, who contacted me. We didn't contact them. They contacted us. They said, we want your podcast. I said, sure. I don't know. It took it was like no time. It was ready to go. Now, I'm comparing Amazon, obviously, to an podcast app, assuming Amazon has, I don't know, a bazillion more employees, so obviously they're going to be quicker. Pandora, they now we've had back and forth with Pandora. They're supposed to tell me they're supposed to give me some information soon. I did receive an email from them, I think on Thanksgiving Day, saying, "Hey, we're still working on getting your podcast. Be patient." So hopefully we'll hear something from Pandora, and that's the Pandora music streaming service. Our podcasts are going to be made available on that. But I mean, I've contacted so many different podcast apps and podcast platforms, and they've always been very respectful, very timely, quick. It's always worked out great, but this situation has just been crazy. So there you have it. Please, when we are made available, download the Edifi Christian Podcast app and just stream us like crazy. That would be a very big help and hopefully will increase our audience. I'm hoping for maybe a tenfold increase. Maybe I'm being too positive there, but I'm looking for a big increase, and we will have to wait and see. And when I say a big increase, an initial increase, because I believe that we'll get a 10% increase initially, and then that will probably drop down to maybe a 5% increase, because I'll probably offend and tick off half of the people who listen to us the first time. So I expect that, but we will see. So that's the latest. It's been crazy, but maybe we're getting a step closer, and this will be a pretty big deal, at least. And for me, it will be a big deal just because I've been working on this, and I like to see things concluded, right? I don't like this open-ended, well, sorry, you didn't pass the test. We never really told you the questions on the test. We never really told you the qualifications to pass the test. We never told you the requirements. But hey, you didn't pass it. We'll keep listening. Maybe one day you'll be a good fit. Goodbye. Okay. I didn't like the way it ended because that's not a conclusion. Why didn't you say, here are the requirements? You didn't meet the requirements. If you meet these requirements in the future, contact me and we'll talk. But no, basically they were like, we don't like you. All right. So that's pretty subjective. You may not like me, but maybe there are other people who do. I don't know. So we will see. I don't know what else to say. Stay tuned. This story is developing. That's the best I can do. Stay tuned, and we'll give you updates as I receive them. All right? But I wanted to at least let everyone know what was going on today. All right. There you have it. I'll be back on the air here shortly. Everyone have a great day. Feel free to email me as always, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. All right, everyone have a great day. God bless.